Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and before a weekend full of Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, let's get into some Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now, my love for the survival horror genre was born with the original Dead Space. That's the game that really pulled me into adoring the mixture of action, tension, with resource management, alongside, crapping my pants a little bit. That's not too bad of a feeling. Suffice to say, when they announced that a demo was coming this week for the Resident Evil 3 Remake, I could not get my hands on it soon enough. And this is coming from the perspective of someone who did not play the original Resident Evil 3. I love what Capcom's been doing recently, updating these older Resident Evils and giving them a new lease on life and bringing in new fans like myself. I've always been a Resident Evil fan, but not so much of the classics, quite honestly. So this is the perspective of what you'd call a new fan. I started Resident Evil with 5 actually, and continued on from there. Normally it's hard to take away a lot from 35 minutes of gameplay, but in this specific scenario where it's a demo, I'm going to make an exception because I do have some thoughts I want to share with you guys. Now, before we move forward, let's take a look at this little snippet here so we can get into one of the mechanics and driving forces behind Resident Evil 3 Remake. In the interview, according to a translation by DualShockers, producers Masao Kawada and Peter Fabiano said the original Resident Evil 3 will be more action-oriented compared to the original game, as reflected in the changes to the design of main character Jill Valentine. So that's the important bit right there that we want to talk about. How action-oriented is the Resident Evil 3 Remake? Right off the bat, I thought, oh boy, I'm just rusty or I suck at games all of a sudden, because I was getting my butt kicked by these zombies. I didn't die, but they got me a lot more than they did in Resident Evil 2. And that's right when I noticed that between the quick step mechanic, which allows you to dodge zombies, combined with actually having a more aggressive AI pattern, having them come at you a little bit quicker rather than in Resident Evil 2 and prior Resident Evil games where they sort of stand there as a slow moving target, they're a lot more aggressive this time because the game gives you tools to be more mobile. And I gotta say, it caught me off guard. It was a bit of an adjustment, and it's gonna take some time because normally I'm accustomed to just sitting back with my pistol out being like, okay, just take your time, aim at the head, boom, right there, got him. But when they say action-oriented, that may be a dangerous sentence because you look at Resident Evil 6, that is action Resident Evil. And while it has a special place in my heart because it's so bad it's good, it's not a good Resident Evil game in my opinion. So I can understand why there may have been worries originally. Is Resident Evil 3 going to be too action-oriented? Think of it as a little bit more fast-paced Resident Evil 2 Remake, just ever so slightly. The next thing that really stuck out to me, once again, was the environmental detail. There are so many assets in this demo, it's insane to see how much this game builds its world between billboards, trash on the street, different outfits on different zombies, bringing a sense of life to when you shoot a zombie and you see exactly where your bullet went and the piece of skin peeled off their head. There's so much detail, and because you're exploring the entirety of Raccoon City, seeing all the different stores and buildings and being able to actually go inside them and making the city feel cohesive, but it doesn't feel as finicky as, say, Thief on the Xbox One and PS4, where that game had a world space in between all the mission sections and exploration could feel a little strange. In the terms of exploring the levels, it's not going to be anything different from what you expected. You're going to meticulously manage your resources. Inventory space will become a problem inevitably, so you're going to have to subject yourself to that. You're going to have important tools getting you through parts of the environment. I had to find a fire hose to put out a fire. I needed bolt cutters to take down some chains on fences, but there were also little details hidden in the environment, such as a safe code on a piece of art on a wall that I had to go back to the safe, and I eventually got a red dot sight for my pistol. So it's classic Resident Evil in that way. Now, speaking of the environments, there's a way to interact with them in a way that'll wipe out a lot of zombies. There were 2 different hazards that I could trigger to wipe out a ton of enemies. One was explosive barrels. It's self-explanatory. Gather them up, boom, goodbye zombies. The other one was a little more interesting. There was some type of electrical appliance that was sparking, and I took a shot, and naturally I electrocuted all the zombies in the area, but it did not kill them, or I don't even think do damage to them. It tried to set me up to get free headshots on them because they essentially were just vibrating in place. So there are different ways to tackle combat scenarios. It's not just weapons. You have to get creative with the environment around you, which I think is smart because it can save you a couple of bullets, which can be the difference between life and death. Nemesis itself is terrifying Unfortunately, you don't really get a good look at him in this demo. For all of the 30 seconds he was attacking me though, I gotta say, I had some clammy hands. And I'm normally not like that, right? Like when we heard about the bio readers maybe being in the PS5 controller, I was like, this is gonna be the biggest non-factor for me because I don't get sweaty when I play games because I'm playing a game and it can get intense, but I don't get clammy hands, quite honestly. But in that moment, Matty broke. I got clammy hands, and it was just in that short period of time because he was on your ass. He was quick. He was aggressive. It was really, really intimidating. And once he broke through the wall at the end of the demo and then it cut off, I was like, oh boy, we are either in for a treat or one of the worst times of our life with this guy following us around. Overall, between the exploration, the attention to detail, and the creeps the game gave me, I really am more excited for this game now than I was before. And to me, that's the testament of a successful demo. It was even subtle things like lighting, going into a dimly lit hallway and seeing a zombie dead on a flight of stairs and taking a shot in the head just to make sure that they don't get up later. Stuff like that is how Resident Evil subliminally completes its goals. Without doing anything, I'm reacting to its universe because of what Capcom has successfully built between aesthetics, environments, detail, immersion. There's no HUD. It's crazy, man. It just loops you in. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed. And I'm definitely, because I know what to expect now thanks to the Resident Evil 2 remake in the terms of quality, I'm extremely excited now for the Resident Evil 3 remake. So don't let this one fly off your radar. If you're not a Resident Evil vet, like I wasn't with the originals, that's okay. Just give it a try on the demo space, see if you like it. But do know you'll be subjecting yourself to resource management where you might be like, oh, I don't have 40,000 bullets, this is not good. But other than that, I'll leave you guys with my thoughts here today and pass it on to you. A bit of a shorter video, but like I said, there's only so much you can put together in about a half hour of gameplay. But I wanted to make sure that we had our chats today. I feel content is more important than ever nowadays. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below, and I'll talk with all of you soon. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Big thank you to all the patrons who continue to support this content variety. Tomorrow's video has been a project I've worked on for, I think it was a month. So I'm really looking forward to seeing people's responses on that. Do keep your eyes open for it, and we'll talk soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.